Today we're going to learn how to write a lowercase cursive e and a lowercase cursive l. So as always, make sure you have a whiteboard and a marker and an eraser with you. Pause the video if you need to get those materials. Also, please remember that you should always be doing handwriting practice at a table sitting in a chair so that you can be as neat as possible. So I'm going to model first how to make a cursive lowercase e. Let me make this line straighter. Okay. I start at the bottom. I'm going to come up and around and make a loop and come back down and make a hook. So I'm making a small loop basically when I make a lowercase cursive e. I'm going to do another one. Start at the bottom. Come up and around, make a loop, come back down and make a hook. So why don't you go ahead and draw a line and let's try a couple together. Start at the bottom, come up and around, make a loop, and come back down and make a hook. You don't want to make the loop too tall, because this is a lowercase letter e, and when you write it on paper, when you have dotted lines, you're going to be keeping it underneath, right under the middle line. You're not going to go all the way to the top line. Let's try another one together. Start at the bottom, come up and make a loop, back down and around and make a hook. So that's lowercase cursive e. Try a couple more on your own. And when you're ready, we'll move on to cursive L. So pause the video if you need to. Now, cursive L is very similar to cursive E, but it's going to be a taller loop. So if you had a dotted line here in the middle, and then you had another tall line, the L would go all the way to the tall line. You don't have to draw these extra lines, but I just want you to be able to see that. I'm going to start at the bottom. I'm going to come up and around all the way to the top line and make a loop and back down and make a little hook. I'm going to do another one. Start at the bottom, come up and around to make a loop, back down and make a hook. Lowercase l. So go ahead and try a couple with me. Let's do a couple together. Starting at the bottom, we're going to come up all the way to the top line and around to make a loop, back down and make a hook. That way you could attach another cursive letter right after the L. Try another one. Start at the bottom, come all the way up to the top, come around and make a loop, and make a hook at the bottom. Practice a few more on your own, and when you're ready, we will move on to your cursive writing journal. So you can put your board off to the side. And you're going to turn to page 3 in your cursive writing journal. It has flowers and bees on it. So we're going to start by tracing the lowercase e, starting at the bottom, coming up and around to make a loop, and back down and make a hook. Do another one. Start at the bottom, come up and around to make a loop, back down to the bottom and make a hook. Trace the rest, and then we're going to start making some on our own. Let's start at the bottom. We're going to come up and around to the middle line, back down to make a loop, and then hook at the bottom. Let's do another one. Start at the bottom, come up and around to make a loop, back down and make a hook at the bottom. Use this whole line to practice your lowercase cursive e's. Remember, they stop at the middle line. They do not go to the top. Down here, they're teaching you how to connect two lowercase e's together, so we're going to do that as well. Start at the bottom, come up and around to make a loop, back down, and this time we're going to go right into the next E, up and around to make another loop, back down and make a hook. There are a lot of words that have two E's that connect, so this is something that you'll do frequently when you write in cursive. Let's try one on our own. Start at the bottom, come up and around to make a loop, back down, come back up and around to make another loop, back down and make a hook. You're basically making two loops. Let's do it again. Start at the bottom, come up and around to make a loop, back down, come up and around again to make another loop, back down, and make a hook. Try one more over here as well, and then we will move on to cursive L's. If you need to pause the video at any time to catch up, you can do that, remember. I'm going to start at the bottom, and this time we're going to go all the way up to the top line before we make our loop and come around. Up to the top and around to make a loop, and back down and make a hook. Cursive L. Let's try another one. Start at the bottom, come up and around to the top, make a loop, back down and make a hook. Trace the rest of the cursive L's here and here, and then you're going to make some of your own on this line, and we'll do a few together. Starting at the bottom, come all the way up to the top line and around to make a loop, back down, and make a hook. Let's do another one. Start at the bottom, come all the way up to make a loop, back down and around, and make a hook. Be careful that your loop isn't too wide. This one that I made is almost a little bit too wide. You don't want to have a really, really wide loop. The loop doesn't need to be wide. Let's try one more. Starting at the bottom, all the way up to the top and around to make a small loop, back down and make a hook. It's about as wide as I want to go. Now, let's practice making two lowercase L's connected. Don't forget to make some more L's down here first, and then we'll do this one. Start at the bottom, go all the way up to the top and make a loop, back down to the bottom, all the way back up to the top, make a loop, and back down and make a hook. Two L's. Let's try another one here. All the way up to the top and around to make a loop, back down, all the way back up to the top and around to make another loop, back down and make a hook. Double L's. And there are a lot of words in the English language that have two L's next to each other, so you will do this frequently when you write words in cursive. Over here, we're going to go again, all the way to the top and around to make a loop, back down, up to the top again, and around to make a loop, back down and make a hook. Try another set here as well. Remember, we never do the activity at the bottom. So once you've completed the whole page and you've checked that it's neat and that your letters look right, you will turn it into the ledge underneath the whiteboard.